this good work. People around the world, they can have a look anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopi. Pinu, good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, can you
Am I
just
audible?
share the program?
Yeah. Sir, please come again. I didn't get you.
Yeah, can you just share the program? I think I've shared it with you.
Yeah, just a second, sir.
ಅದು ಎಸ್ಸಿಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು 40 ಅಂತ 12 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರಲ್ವ ಸರ್ ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಮೇಲೆ.
So what are the things happening in your end, Sanjay? Gopi here, because to break the quiet, you can share some of the exciting things happening. You have the
All good,
privilege
all
as the
good.
speaker.
Yeah. I was trying to conserve my energy before the session starts, and I must admit, I'm a bit nervous going into this presentation. Usually, I'm dealing with one expert at a time. This would be one of the rare occasions wherein we have too many experts that I need to present at one go.
No, I think you need not to worry. But the experts, they know what they know, and they know they do not know many things, and they are not afraid to tell that. So that's the one thing. And you are also expert in that case. You are telling that. So please, whatever is your experience and your journey, that is what we are interested to know. We're not interested to know what you do not know.
Then absolutely, absolutely, it's going to be a. I've also requested one of my colleagues. He would be dialing in. He also is a technical guy. He's a CTO. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, so been a consultant all my life before starting this venture 10 years back. So as I said, dealing with experts, especially on the technical side, I'm just slightly wary going in, but hopefully I'll have a smile on my face after the 40 minutes are done.
No, you need not to worry, because the technical part is generally under control. It is the people and the finance, how to make it work. And I think Glenn Shoemaker, who was the general manager in the power plant in Glaston, he sent many of the finance people, IT people, even HR people into the asset management courses, I remember. And I was fortunate to be the program head for those postgraduate programs there. So
Interesting.
Shui, you can tell that finance is very important, and understanding those things at the senior level and appreciating and making it work, then that happens. I request Sui to quickly share that one so that I think people will be
most
well off.
definitely, Sanjay. I think if we are serious about improving how we use our assets, we need, one of the keys of asset management is very holistic. And I think what we sometimes miss, the technical people miss, that holistic view is the whole business, the whole organization. So it's no use being very good technically if the business does not succeed, is not profitable, you're not optimizing your monetary assets as well as your physical ones. So input and involvement from people like yourselves, I think, is very important for our success. So all power to you, and we're really keen to hear what you're going to tell us.
So can we start? Sorry
you.
to interrupt.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right.
So good morning.
Dr. Pai,
Big
not audible.
webinar of this year's. Am I not audible now?
Yeah, it's good now. Please go ahead. Yeah, it's better.
Okay. So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to people across Europe, UK, Australia, and India. This is the 8th webinar that we are having this year in different aspects of asset management. And this morning we have Mr. Sanjay Chakraborty, who has founded Tag 8 based in Mumbai, but they're across all the continents. And he's also a member of Asset Management Society India. This webinar is going to be a little bit different, I think, because it's used some of the new technologies in asset management. And we're going to listen to him from his experience of using asset management. Welcome to Sanjay. Welcome to all our guests, Glenn Schumacher, Dr. Gopi, Martin Kerr, and the rest of the AMSI team, as well as other invited guests. A very warm welcome to all of you. I now request Mr. Satyesh Simha, who's one of our members, is a member of the technical committee, to kindly introduce Mr. Sanjay Chakraborty. Thank you. Mr. Simha, have you joined? You're joining. I did admit somebody when I was speaking. Let me just check with him.
There might be some technical issue. Raghavi, if you introduce, or if you tell me, that'll be great.
Yeah, let me just.
I'm 5 minutes introduction for me is too much. So I'm happy to do it myself. It will take a couple of minutes. And I'm
think
happy
you go
to
ahead.
jump in. And
Mr. Simha has some login issues, I think some internet issues at his end. I just spoke to him. Sanjay, I think you should go ahead because the write-up you gave me, I had sent it across to Mr. Simha.
Sure.
So
I'll just briefly introduce myself and Tag 8. We are a 10-year-old company. Before starting this venture, my partner and I, we were management consultants. I worked with Arthur Andersen earlier, that talking about myself, and then worked with Ernst & Young for practically 20 years. before starting Tagate. My stint has really been as part of EY. I was a partner handling the renewable energy, the entire clean tech space for them. Was part of the global EY board handling the clean tech space. And this was way back. So clean tech is something that I'd worked on way back in 2008. And finally in 2015, we started with Tagate. I have with me Kunal Jagtap, who's our CTO. I requested him to kind of be a part of this call as well, especially if there are technical questions that are to be taken. Tagate as a concept, our whole mission statement is make things smarter. And when we do that, our other objective is to be focused on the ROI, the return on investment, and which effectively means that we work across the space. We are not married to any technology, and our idea is to look at every space of asset management, asset movement, but more on the non-glamorous side. So we pretty much look at the asset life cycle and provide experts like you data, which hopefully will add value to your analysis on how best to manage or maintain an asset. So broadly, that is what we do. We have a presentation that I would like to share, which covers broadly, what our solutions are. Would love to kind of hear from the panel, and actually learn from this whole discussion as to how do you see the relevance of what we are providing and what we could do from our end to improve the solution that we are currently, currently we've put up. So if it's okay, I'll just share the presentation slides. Thank you. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Perfect. So jumping into our solution per se, one of our hallmark is that we are not married to any technology. So whether it is QR code, RFID, IoT devices, beacon, LoRaWAN, GPS, we are pretty much agnostic to the type of technology you propose to deploy. And in fact, we go and try and work with the end customer to understand how best we can derive a ROI for them. This is a SaaS-based model, a SaaS-based platform. It's pretty much pay per use per asset, and that's what we kind of build in. It is integrated with every kind of a ERP. We have over 250 APIs that get integrated into whatever system. It could be your home developed hybrid system. So long as we are able to integrate APIs, we should be able to integrate with any ERP. I'll run through the features more in detail as we come in. But the whole idea is to create a modular platform which makes it very easy for you to help you in your day-to-day activity. It is enterprise wise scalable. We've for a single client, we've managed more than 1.5 million assets as well. The other thing that we try and kind of push through is that our projects to implement do not take more than 6 months. The average time taken to implement a project is anywhere between 2 to 3 months. But in case of an extensive exercise across various countries, we would say maximum within 6 months from word go, we are able to implement it. As I mentioned, we are hardware agnostic. So we work back with you to figure out what it is. And finally, because of the system integration, there's only one platform that you need to use. And it's not that you need to do something on your ERP and then come back to our platform and do the same in our platform in terms of the duplication. So that's what is our main proposition. And this is something possibly we picked up from our days in Ernst & Young, wherein the whole idea was that you don't need to go out of the Taggate umbrella for whatever solution you are looking at. So right from physical tagging, onboarding those assets, reconciling those assets with what is there in your books, to giving you the platform, integrating it, managing the whole exercise, training the client, everything is done by us. And at the same time, you can pick and choose any of these activities. You can say that, okay, we will do the we'll manage the project, or our people will actually do the physical tagging, or we will internally do the reconciliation. Pretty much you can pick and choose what is it that you need help on, and we will work back with you based on that. Now, there is a video out here that I would just like to play. In terms of how our platform is, it is around a 2.5, 3-minute video. I just hope the audio is something that you can hear into. Just sorry. No. Sorry, there's some link issue with the video, but let me maybe come back to it later on, and be focused on our solution. So these are broadly the 5 solutions that we render. And for this particular discussion, we'll only focus on number 1, which is the asset lifecycle management. But we do have a returnables management solution, a supply chain smart lock solution, LoRaWAN technology, which we are using for different level of productivity analysis. And then the employee visibility and safety piece also we have. But we'll focus on the asset lifecycle management. Going into asset lifecycle management, the key challenges is, and this team here is obviously the most learned in terms of this subject. So I'll quickly run through it. Is getting visibility of the asset. The entire in India especially, you have to have a company law compliance in terms of saying that where is your asset, what is the state of your asset. And finally, most times we end up having a lot of manual data as far as asset management is concerned. So the idea here is, how do we digitize a lot of these aspects? What we've seen in terms of the difference that we've been able to create, the biggest has really been the physical asset reconciliation, which is a thankless job. And I guess most of the time it is not on the operations team, but more on the finance team, because the finance team needs to ensure that at the time of the audit every year, they are able to reconcile the physical asset with what is there in the books. But at the same time, that whole a part of the work also stems into the operations team. So that is something that we believe has the maximum impact. The second is your losses on account of shrinkages. That's something that we are able to do just because you have the visibility on the asset. The other interesting part is warranty claim. Therein typically IT assets are do a better job in managing warranty claim. But when it comes to industrial equipment, that again becomes a question mark unless you have a robust system of managing that place. The other big ticker is really the asset utilization, and that's something that we've seen significantly improve the moment you have the visibility or the vantage point on where your asset is. And finally, there is also a little bit space of improving your insurance cost when you have a better visibility on your assets. Is the speed okay in the way that I'm kind of going through? Do I need to, is it okay to maintain the same tempo?
No, that's fine. You can go at whatever pace you're going now.
Perfect. So I'm just quickly dealing into each of the scenario, and it is essentially all dovetailing to our efforts of ensuring that you have the entire data point of your asset through its life cycle. So it starts with taking the asset details, which includes the photographs and every possible detail that you would like to kind of put in. While we have our list of details that we go with each particular industry, at the end of the day, we also have these open spaces wherein you can pretty much add a specialized detail that you may want to do. So as I said, it's pretty modular for you to change, tweak around to tailor it to your requirement. Second is the custody detail. It pretty much can be worked on various levels, saying who really has the custody, so that you know who's accountable for each of the asset. It has location detailing in 3 zones, in 3 levels, so you pretty much can get it to the end point. User access control, dynamic asset codes, and I'll get to it when we have a more detailed discussion on the asset codes. The other bit is comprehensive reporting. This is pretty much, drag and drop functionalities are there on the platform, which enables you to decide what kind of a reporting that you need. If you need pre-populated report, if you say that, decide that, okay, every month, every fortnight, or every quarterly, I need this information, even that can be pre-populated, and you will keep getting those reports, or those number of people who are assigned those reports can pretty much pick up those reports. Audit is a big factor. This also is pretty much a compliance requirement, wherein in India, it is every 3 years you need to verify 100% of your assets, and people typically do 1/3 every year. And frankly, with these tools in place, you can increase this frequency significantly, because it hardly takes any time to do the audit. You could potentially audit all your assets within a week's time once you have this entire tool in place. The other is your floor map. So the entire, if you get a floor map of your factory, of your any other facility or space, we can pretty much do a 3D digital imaging. So you will be able to see your assets, on your full floor map. Finally, the entire history of all your actions, where your asset is, who's taking it, checking it in, moving from one facility to the other facility, which at times becomes a big challenge. All of those are pretty much catered to. Then we have the purchase model. So right from the goods received note, connecting it to the system, to the ERP, could happen through this through the purchase module. Something to do more on the finance side. And then you have the relevant bit of insurance, warranty, AMC. Now, AMC is an interesting aspect on which we've recently started doing a fair amount of work. And one of the items of interest was actually something as simple as the fire extinguisher. What we've seen in a lot of these facilities, you have a significant number of fire safety devices, and it is mandated to maintain those devices, and there are however records to that is maintained through paper, and practically a label is put on each of those equipment with a handwritten note saying that yes, it's been inspected, and the next inspection date is so and so, which frankly can just it's very difficult to it can, that label itself can disappear, plus it is very difficult to really know the extent of which the AMC is being undertaken. So this entire process we've been able to digitize, and as I said, fire extinguisher is one of those areas wherein we've been able to make a significant progress. Finally, maintenance module is something that pretty much works along with alerts. You can get information on everything that is happening. The only caveat here is we do not do predictive maintenance. So our system pretty much stops at the point wherein we can give you data point on a regular periodic maintenance, but we haven't yet gone to a space wherein we've been able to get to a predictive maintenance mode. And finally, last point is around depreciation. Frankly, depreciation happens, which is really a finance subject, and happens more out of the ERP. But in a worst case scenario, if your system doesn't have your company doesn't have a depreciation system at the back end, we'll be able to support that as well. So that broadly is what the overall system is. Going to the tags that we use, as I mentioned, right from QR code, RFID, NFC, beacon, BLE, everything is pretty much there. And you can pick and choose. You can decide that 60% of my assets need barcodes or QR codes. 10% of my assets need RFID. 10% need beacon. So you can decide mismatch and decide what is the proportion, and we obviously help you back in it to see which is the best mix that kind of works for you. Now, talking of the QR code, I just wanted to come through a very interesting proposition. When we started our business, we created this whole platform and were very excited about it, saying that here's a solution, because we had seen a lot of our clients struggle on managing their assets. Unfortunately, when we went there and we started kind of building it up, what we realized is that a bigger challenge for clients was that the asset tag itself would come off. And then the question was that if the asset tag is coming off, will your system really work? And the answer was no, we needed the asset tag to kind of be firm. And that's where clients sent us back saying that why don't you first work on the asset tag, because that is actually the crux, because without that particular identity, it becomes very difficult to thereafter do anything around the asset management side. So over several years, we've kind of constantly been working at various asset tags, and I can pretty much say that right now, maybe pushing the line of modesty a bit, but globally, we would be one of the best as far as the type of asset tags that we bring to the table. And I'll give you one example of the work that we've recently done with a company called Linde. Now, Linde supplies oxygen cylinder. They are obviously circular in nature, very difficult to have a tag on it. It's rough use. It is in a harsh external environment. There's a rusting element to it. So when they came to us, they said that, listen, this is a proposition. And interestingly, during COVID, the government of India put in this norm saying that every oxygen cylinder needs to have a QR code. To come to what we did around it, we kind of not only created these QR codes, which are unique and can actually sit on something like a cylinder, but what we realized that it has to work in a more regimented manner, wherein we created guidelines. We worked back with the team saying that, how do you really apply those tags to your assets. And here's a small, video wherein it shows to what extent we actually went in and worked back with the customer to solve their tagging problems. Now we ourselves, pride ourselves to be a tech company, but what we realized is that we needed to be equally immersed in the last mile tagging solution to be able to provide value to the customers. So here, again, types of videos we created to say what not to do, how to tag assets, which otherwise seems extremely simple. But, over a period of time, yeah, and this is the Linde tag finally that kind of goes in. And it's been extremely successful. We have over, I think, 8-9 lakh cylinders that are currently tagged using this. So yeah, that was what it is. Just to summarize the solution on asset management before we'll take one case study. We have a comprehensive asset solution with different fields on it. Any actionable items with the entire backlog and history is something that is maintained in the system. You can pretty much have a calendar, alerts, triggers to each of the respective custodian or people responsible. And also the reporting can be based on each of the user. So, you may have admin rights and be able to see everything. A certain region or a certain facility may be only able to see a certain amount of what they are concerned with. So all those reportings and user modules can be managed. So whether it is asset management, the entire movement of assets from one place to the other, which is a significant aspect when you have different facilities, or the entire audit trail, pretty much can come out from the system. Finally, this is the last one, which is really the case study that we've seen, wherein, the biggest challenge here was the time taken for physical asset reconciliation was humongous. And that's something that we were able to reduce significantly. So that's been, a big win for the management. And, as I said, the good part is that anything that we implement is typically at an average time frame of 3 months. So these quick wins can be brought back to the management, pretty much very quickly. The other interesting thing out here is that in this situation, was a case wherein we worked a lot with the operations team to understand what was the operational challenges and how this, while we were brought in by the finance team to provide the solution, at the end of the day, actually, we got more support from the operations team, because the finance team was only looking at it from a reconciliation perspective. But it was the operations team who actually loved the fact that they were now getting the entire life cycle management details out from the system. And also the fact that your operational maintenance as well as AMC had suddenly got digitized thanks to this whole finance initiative. So this was a pretty much finance-led project, which then got us a lot of, a healthy partnership from the operations side as well. So that's about it. Some of our clients that we have worked with, happy to get your perspective on how you see this as a solution, as well as take questions from you.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. And if there are any questions from the audience? Gopi?
Thank you very much. I think this is uh, very useful in terms of that integration and one-stop shop and visibility, which is very, very important. Now, one quick question, because we are having one session 30th of September related to I think this asset management for the batteries, because here many of the organizations, they are telling that underground mines, equipments, and then drones, and then your servers and this lighting and so many EVs are coming. So this is something where if all these batteries are tagged and even these drones are in different places, and then that can trace exactly if something is going wrong related to that, how that can be done. Because underground mine, sometimes this Wi-Fi, the internet becomes a little bit challenge, and also all these moving assets, like I'm talking about that, for example, drones or other rotating, equipments. Uh, how to make it in a real time related to those from the system, or it still requires something further work to make it work?
Sure. No. So we've also done projects, in offshore oil rigs. That was very specific, so I didn't kind of get to it. But we are able to, especially LoRaWAN, depending on the type of area that we need to cover. We could use a technology called LoRaWAN to actually look at some of those pieces. So it really depends. And the second bit on the internet connectivity, yes, we do require internet connectivity, but even if we don't, the moment the information can be saved on your phone or on the gadget. The moment you get into a internet zone, that information gets relayed back and synchronized with our overall system. So even if the internet is poor at that place, our system still works.
All right. Thank you. And how much, for example, in your organization, medium, say a power plant is trying to do that one, or some of the small mines, which is open cut, how much is the turnaround in terms of, they have some of the systems, but most likely that might not be the integrated way and linked to the warranties and other things you're talking about. What might be a turnaround time? Is that 2 months or 6 months? That is what you're telling, or it might be more?
So it depends where. I mean, our average time is 3 months. For a medium-sized project, our time would be 3 months. We worked in the Middle East, we worked in UK, we worked in US, and India obviously is and Bangladesh as well. So we have projects across various locations, and so our average turnaround time is around 3 months.
And I saw that Rio Tinto name in that list. Is that an Australian one, or?
Yes, it is. It is pretty much, but it is that is only their corporate office in India. We haven't gone yet into their project site. It's something that we've started to talk to them about. Rio Tinto has, I think, offices in Delhi and Bangalore, and they're using our platform to manage all their office assets, but it's not on their project sites.
Okay, all right.
But project sites, our biggest client is Larsen and Toubro, L&T, which is a large construction company in India, and we manage their power equipment. So we manage their stores for all their power equipment, and this we do across around 450 sites they have across various locations in India and abroad.
All right. Thank you.
So you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
So sorry about that. That automatically does that. So I'm really interested in the interface between what you're doing, and you talked about enterprise systems, and we might talk about more specifically maintenance, computerized maintenance management systems. So I'm getting the feeling that your space that you operate in is actually going out and identifying the physical assets, being able to give them an identification number and record their details. Is that a correct understanding?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be our base.
Yeah, yeah. So in your recording of those assets, and clearly the client has to be involved, you're classifying them. So if we were talking about bridges, a certain class of bridge, here's its number, and is that information going into the data that you're building up?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you take that back into the enterprise system. So you're saying you're agnostic. So if it's SAP or anything else, you can interface back into those systems as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we stop there. As I said, we do the non-glamorous work. You know, so there are a lot of companies that are working with doing analytics on it, improving performance of the machinery post that, and everything that goes around with it, maybe making better buying decisions, making better maintenance decisions. We are the data providers. We don't do the next leg, because there are specialized teams looking at each specs on how to improve that. So we say we will go out and do the laborious work of identifying, and you placed it very, very accurately. We identify, we tag it, we get it back to you, and we give you the data.
Yeah, and look, that's in my experience, a very important space. So don't please say it's not a clever space, because unless we've got the right data, the decisions we're making are not good. So it's an important space. Are you also including things like, we've had a focus on barcoding, so that when the maintenance people go and look at, a pump somewhere with a portable device, nowadays their phone or a tablet or something, we've been working on barcodes that they just scan the barcode and the right information comes up and they can then download into the right place. Are you also in that space?
Yes, absolutely. So our entire maintenance module works on that basis.
Right.
And, we've again, going back to the fire extinguisher space, what we actually demonstrated to them is that, say, if you have 100 fire extinguishers to be maintained in a day, and you have 2 individuals coming in to do that, invariably they spend significant more time in the initial machines.
Yeah.
And as the time passes in the day, the time that you spend in each machine keeps reducing to the extent that the last fire extinguisher may just get, a courtesy visit from the maintenance guy. Wherein in our case, exactly the way Shui, you mentioned, the maintenance module opens only on scan of the barcode. So, exactly when, that particular equipment has been looked at, the entire mapping comes through that. You've put in digitally, and whatever is digitally entered gets into the home repository, as I said, to then do the analytics and say that what needs to be done at your level. You can at that point of time also add alerts saying that when is the next maintenance, what needs to be done, what is and you can take pictures as well as you're doing it. So a gauge meter or a pressure meter that needs to be recorded, you can just take a photograph of that.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very important space, Sanjay, and it's very real. I'm seeing a lot of people try to do analysis with very interesting tools and use AI and so on. And I ask about their data collection in the field, and there's a big problem. And so all the analysis is wasted because you haven't got good data. So thank you very much. Very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more question. So it can take the data you are telling, because always there are the data related to time and the usage, and in terms of the environmental one and the condition, and there is some of the text data and image data and videos and other things. So it is capable of taking those things, because uh, I think collecting the data and also transferring the what you are telling for the data analytics, that is very important, and if it has that capability, I think that will solve many of the problems what happens for long life assets when there are the changes related to owners, changes related to the operator and maintenance people, and sometimes these assets are sold or transferred to different plant, and that everything is lost. So it is capable of all these different types of data.
Absolutely. It maintains the entire history logbook for every transfer. In India, it's a bit complicated because you need now with GST regulation, which is part of the tax code, any movement also requires you to kind of create documentation around it. That documentation also comes out now. You can get a gate pass of what is getting out of one facility, and the same gets recorded just on scan on the other facility. So you know exactly whether the thing has moved out and gone into the other facility.
And it can also do this like calibration and the testing, inspections and regulatory requirements, and those related to fire and safety and other things, or even the screens you are telling. It can somebody has to manually enter that in the system, or it can still automatically, when they're doing automatically, that will be updated.
No, so we have ability to, as I said, we use IoT devices to be able to, that can be plugged into a system. Uh, Frankly, more of our projects are on the space wherein it is happening through a NFC, through a RFID. But pretty much, we can use different IoT devices. Especially, we are very strong on beacons. So depending on the type of issue you have on hand, we would definitely love to have the opportunity to explore and see if there is value that we can add to the situation.
I think it will be a really huge, valuable asset, because in my 44 years experience, I tell that interface is the killer, and this will still may not be the silver bullet, but still that will reduce lots of things, because it will take out that human element in those critical interface areas. So yeah, so I'll be interested to look into those things, and might be for some of our postgraduate students to have access, because many of the technology providers, they provide some of the access and those things, they might be able to know what are the things happening, how they can do it better. Thank you.
Absolutely, Gopi. In fact, adding to that, I mentioned about the tags. Frankly, the tags are equally important. To be able to say finally what the asset is, what it is doing. It's something that we are pretty confident that we should be able to add value there.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Martin, you raised your hand.
Thanks, Sanjay. Really appreciated that. Look, what I'm going through at the moment with a client, and they've got.
Martin, sorry, I'm not able to hear you that well. It's a bit soft from your side.
Is that better? Oh, hold on. Is that better?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, thank you. My apologies for that one. So look, yeah, working with a client at the moment, and they're of course rolling out mobility, SAP, CMMS, etc. Although the technology is there, when we talk about RF tags, etc., LoRa or FMEA, how much of it is dependent on frontline people interaction with the technology versus just the technology itself? It's just an open question.
No, it is very, very important, because I started by saying that we were consultants, both my partner Alok and me. We spend cumulatively around 40 years together on consulting. And people management, change management, it's like any other consulting project. The technology is really the support system, But at the end of the day, managing the entire change management process and setting up processes to be able to do that is really the key to a successful project. And therefore, when we come and we say, as opposed to any other tech company which is providing you a solution, this is a solution which requires you to be able to come through a consulting approach rather than a plug and play kind of approach, because people is the entire change management, Martin, is absolutely accurately mentioned by you, is the key.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, with technology and people, the thing that joins it together is, of course, configuration and the understanding of why that is important. And you always seem to find ourselves in the situation when you're asking someone to have more responsibility and accountability for how they enter things into a system or how they actually understand and use technology. My personal sharing is, if you can demonstrate to the frontline workforce that within a planning cycle or a couple of planning cycles, their input can be seen in how they can improve, then they, of course, improve their life, the organizational's bottom line, and of course, asset condition. But no, look, thanks for that. I really appreciate it today, Sanjay. Thank you.
So I'll tell you, Martin, we've faced situations exactly the reverse as well, which accurately you're mentioning, wherein people didn't want that level of information.
Yeah.
So there is a big pushback when it comes through saying that, there's too much information, accurate information, and I would rather like a nebulous environment. And if that is the mentality of the top management, then we have a challenge when we quickly come out of it saying that it's not going to work here, because data don't lie, right? So at the end of the day, whatever comes in will be thrown back at you. So I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, I think this the human factor is key, because in spite of all these technologies, is people. And Shivi, you can tell it, because I understand that people, what they do, why they are doing, and how that is making a difference. Unless that is there, the motivation doesn't come, and we don't get the best value of the technologies or the assets. So what is your thought related to human? Because always at the end of every talk, you tell that in spite of all these things, it is the people. So what is your say related to that?
I'm totally with Martin, because we're repeatedly seeing applications of new technology fail. And then people will say, well, why is it failing? And it's because they haven't brought the human element on the journey. And we've learnt this around asset management itself. We've run many asset management programs going back into the mid-1990s, and most of those early ones were total failures because we didn't engage with the people. And it's exactly what Martin's saying. Give them a reason to use the device, to apply the label, to look at the condition of the plant, have some input into the process. And Martin touched on a key element of this, is if you get that input, then use that input and show people that their world improves, that's when you make the change. So we've seen a number of things, and I'm seeing them now with AI. AI is starting to get a little bit out of control, in that people think, well, I've got an AI solution, so it's all solved. And all of a sudden, we're finding, well, AI particularly isn't taking into account the human element. So people are really the important key, no matter what the technology is.
Thank you. That's great.
Yes, absolutely. I'll just leave one thought, the Linde project that we did. So the Linde project we did with around 1 million, cylinders. It started with, the management pushing it. Finally, it's the employees realized that the entire process of managing, reporting had become so simple that thereafter we actually got several referrals to other clients through the teams that were working within Linde at the mid management level. So absolutely accurate. So we get a lot of our work referrals from employees who have quit and joined a new company, and they want to show that they are bringing in something different. So for us, a good base is a word of mouth selling.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. Are there any questions? If there are no other questions, then we request Dr. Binu to give the vote of thanks.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Are there any more questions out there, or shall we close the session? All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege and honor to extend a vote of thanks on this occasion. First and foremost, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Sanjay Chakraborty, founding partner of Tag 8 Mumbai, for his insightful presentation on smart asset management solutions. Sanjay, your deep dive into asset lifecycle management, one of the key solutions provided by Tag 8, has given us an understanding of how to efficiently manage assets throughout their life cycle, a topic that is crucial for the future of engineering asset management. Additionally, we also had a glimpse of the other innovative services offered by Tag8, including returnables management, supply chain smart lock systems, LoRaWAN uh, technology, and mesh technology, and employee visibility and safety. These areas illustrate the breadth and potential of Tag8's contributions to the field of asset management. Thank you, Sanjay. Uh, I would also like to thank Professor Raghuveer Pai for the warm welcome that set the tone for today's session. Additionally, my sincere thanks goes to all our guests, Professor Gopi Chattopadhyay, Mr. Shui Schumacher, Mr. Martin Kerr, and all other participants for your presence here today. Lastly, I would like to thank Asset Management Society India for organizing this monthly webinar series focusing on the future of engineering asset management. Thank you once again, and we look forward to your active participation in all our future events. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Gopi. Professor Amritsar. Thank you, Kunal, and the rest of the team. Mr. Satyesh Sinha. Thank you.